funnels. You know, the potential for there to be some brief funnels are still going to be possible with these. But overall, you see all this rain. I mean, you want to talk about getting a lot of rain, 3-4 inches of rain as these storms are very slowly drifting to the south-southeast. That will lead to a flooding risk. I know I've seen pictures in the Village right now. Those areas that tend to flood, and you know what I'm talking about, each kind of city has their own areas that are just prone to flooding. Those will be flooded here in the metro as we're getting, again, inches of rain coming in here. Some very powerful winds coming in as well, 80 to 90 miles per hour. But all in all, I see the tornado risk that is going to be coming down, other than maybe a brief, weak tornado that's going to be embedded with rain. Again, the overall tornado threat for this evening, thank goodness, looks like it's on its way down as we are now past sunset. And all in all, again, it looks like this is going to be a heavy rain and somewhat of a hail event. Again, a heavy rain and a somewhat of a hail event right now. So that's what we have right now across the metro. We continue a tornado warning. Again, this tornado warning will be until 9 o'clock. If they're not reissuing for this section right here, I'm not exactly too confident they're even going to extend the tornado warning in the eastern parts of Pottawatomie County here east of Shawnee. Something that we will still have to watch. But again, that tornado warning expires at 9 o'clock. And now we're dealing with a very heavy rain event. And you can see here, severe thunderstorm warning. Downtown OKC, more Norman down to Purcell. As you make way in the Dibble, Chickasha, Amber, Tuttle, you can see a large polygon that we have right here. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. Corey Inman, we have you on the phone right now. Corey, where are you and what are you seeing?
Damon, right now I am just on the east side of 177 on Hardesty Road on the south side of Shawnee, looking back to the northwest, just to the north of Bethel Acres. We did have a large bowl-shaped lowering. Looks like it's trying to recycle now. The rotation's pretty broad. There's no real centralized area of rotation. Haven't seen any funnels come out of it, but we'll sit here and watch it for you.
Yeah, and now it's getting pretty dark, so of course storm chasing becomes something a little bit more of a challenge. Let's go over to Advantage Doppler HD right now, and let's kind of look at what, again, there might be something trying to spin up still just west of Lake Thunderbird. You can see right here, again, we're kind of watching this little area right here. We've been kind of seeing this type of image on the radar for a while now, and probably going to get some spin ups right within this. Again, you can see here winds trying to come in just over Denver and then moving just right along State Highway 9 here. And this is going to be, looks like now east of Norman, east of the Weather Center, east of the University of Oklahoma, right over at Lake Thunderbird. Again, something trying to spin up. It's not going to be, at least as of right now, anything that is huge, but still, let's track this out to the east here. Looks like Lake Thunderbird at 842, Little Axe at 850, Pink at about 909. Again, the tornado risk is not zero right now with these storms that we have, but it certainly has come down quite a bit. But this is still an area that may have some rotation that we are seeing right now. Looks like a lot of the areas of rotation that we are seeing right now are going to kind of quickly spin up and then come back down, and then spin up and then come back down. Paul, Jess, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're getting some new video in. We want to show it to you. 23rd and Broadway is where we're talking about. David's been talking about all the rain that is coming in. Just look at this coming out of probably one of the underground waterways right there. We've got Dan Ryan on the line right now. Dan, we're looking at this video. Tell us about it.
This is the intersection at Northwest 23rd and Broadway. That's a manhole cover. The drainage system is just overloaded. You see a car stuck in the water there. That's water gushing out of the drainage system. The storm sewers are completely overwhelmed. Further down this way, under the bridge, you see a Jeep down there stuck in the water. I think the water down there under that bridge is a railroad bridge at 23rd and Broadway. The water under there is probably 5 to 6 feet deep. Yes?
Well, I was just going to say, have you been able to tell if the cars that are stuck, if the people inside were able to get out okay and safely?
I saw somebody, and I can't get that close. I mean,
there's another one.
It's a lake here. Yeah, there's another one. Here's somebody that, I don't know if I can get that off there. Hang on.
Hey, Dan, tell us some of the stores that are around there, 23rd and Broadway, to kind of give folks an idea of exactly where you are.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I want to know the stores there. I know that's the liquor store right there, right?
Yeah, Byron's Liquor.
Byron's?
Yeah, I'm in the McDonald's parking lot.
And the Carl's Jr.'s across from right there.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the overpass is where that on-queue is. So that's where you're talking about right there, all that water. Look at all of that.
Does it look like the roadway is flooded for as far as you can see?
Yeah, it's flooding in all four directions from this intersection. You can see that guy, he may have came from that Jeep. That Jeep is deep in water.
Yeah, I just saw someone climb back into that vehicle there.
So, wow, it's just incredible, all the water that is down there. And this is just from inches of rain. Some of the heaviest rain that we've been talking about in the Weather Center they handed me was in El Reno. They've had more than 4 inches of rain. Much of Oklahoma City's had 2 to 3 inches.
And as we're looking at this, you mentioned El Reno. I talked to the Canadian County Emergency Manager. He says it's really hectic there right now. You know, they had a tornado out there. Several homes were hit west of El Reno by the airport as well as east of El Reno. He did say it was a sparsely populated area, but no word on injuries out there.
You see the guy running there. Let's bring in Christy Yeager with the City of Oklahoma City. Christy, what can you tell us right now about all this flooding?
Well, I've been in contact with emergency management and flooding around Oklahoma City. We are going to dispatch Public Works full out as soon as we can get to the concerns we always have is that we don't want to become the problem.
Okay, Christy, your phone is a little bit in and out. I've seen some tweets of flooding in the underground downtown. Can you confirm all of that? What's going on down there?
I
want to stop you real quick. Look at this guy driving through this water right here. Look at this. The water is all the way up past the hood of the car. Our picture's freezing right there. I'm sorry, Christy. We're just looking at this video.
You know what? There is flooding throughout all of downtown. Sorry, I was just in a safe and couldn't get online. But there's flooding all through downtown. We're going to with dispatched people. We wanted to wait until it was safe enough to do it, so we're not becoming a part of the problem, and that we're a part of the solution. So, but we know that there are widespread problems throughout Oklahoma City with flooding.
And Christy, you mentioned you're saying widespread problems from flooding in Oklahoma City, but what are some of the worst areas that people need to be aware of that they should not drive into those areas?
I don't have that information right now, but I think most people know in their area what typically floods. If they've driven around much, they know that. So they need to avoid those areas in their neighborhood that floods. And we do have certain areas that we know always flood, but anytime we get this much rain, this quickly, it always causes problems for our city streets.
And what about any structural damage?
I don't have any reports yet of structural damage. I'm sure that's going to come in over time, but the last time I checked with emergency management just a few minutes ago, they haven't gotten any reports. But I know we're going to get some.
And can I ask you about, do you have anybody trapped that you know of that is in any sort of danger that you guys are trying to get to right now?
I don't have that information from police or fire. Dexter Nelson would be a good person to talk to about that.
Okay. So, Christy Yeager with the City of Oklahoma City, the best advice right now is just to stay put where you are, because you see these guys in this deep water. That's a dangerous situation, really, you know, just to even get out in it, because that water is probably moving very, very quickly.
We've seen many situations like this where people have had to been rescued before. It's not necessarily even safe, and in some cases, to get out of the vehicle and try to make your way out, it's better to stay put if you feel like you're in a dangerous situation and just call for emergency response.
Dan Ryan live on the scene right there, and you can see the water just gushing up out of the manhole cover, out of the manholes right there in the city. This is 23rd and Broadway, where you come off that exit right there, and the Byron's Liquor is there, the McDonald's, I think it's a Carl's Jr. All of that stuff is right in that area.
And just really quickly, I wanted to mention Norman Fire Department. You know, Damon had talked about some power flashes, perhaps out in the Norman area. They did report those. They said there were some possible structural structural damage from straight line winds. No major damage, but possible structural damage there near Rock Creek and Flood Road. So, Damon, that's an update from Norman, but it seems like in Oklahoma City, flooding is the biggest issue.
Absolutely. And what we have seen in here, really, if you look at some of the rainfall reports that we have had since, and probably really in the last hour for Oklahoma City, we've seen up to 3 inches of rain. I have a 3-inch rain report coming in from southeastern Oklahoma County, and that is all within 1 hour. So heavy rainfall. There is still some circulation that we are seeing right around Little Axe, right along State Highway 9. Not very tight, and again, it's not that we have a tornado risk out there, but the risk is still very low. It looks like it's coming down as these storms come through here. While we could still see a spin up, maybe something that's going to be brief, it looks like more straight line winds. Look at these winds right here. This is southwest of Franklin here, just right along East Tecumseh Road, north of Little Axe. Our radar at about 1,000 feet is picking up straight line winds of over 80 miles per hour. Over 80 miles per hour with these winds. So we're going to get a lot of straight line winds, no doubt about it with these. Again, that looks like the straight line winds will do tornado-like damage, but again, straight line winds. Circulation is not very tight, but we are getting a lot of heavy rain out of this. So 80-mile-an-hour winds from what our radar is sampling right now at about 1,000 feet above the ground. How much of that comes down to the surface? Probably going to be a little bit less than that, but this will do some serious wind damage. As coming in here, even south of Lake Thunderbird here, south of Highway 9, it looks like we have about 70-mile-an-hour winds, and there's a lot of tree density down there, so that's going to push down some trees. 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds just south of Lake Thunderbird here. As you see, Highway 9 kind of wraps back up and eventually puts you in the Pottawatomie County here, right near Pink. So I would go ahead and just prepare for some very powerful winds. Things that are not tied down outside will blow. Within this, they're going to blow off in these powerful straight line winds. Again, we still have this tornado warning that is in effect for about another 15 minutes for Pottawatomie County. Although looking at the velocity within here, not seeing a lot of tightening up, but we do have certainly some inflow areas. So from Hera to Dale, make your way down to Bethel Acres, Pink, and then west to Franklin Norman here. You can see here we've got lots of areas where winds are coming in, and we are going to see some strong winds along here, but right along I-40 here as you go into Pottawatomie County, looks like a lot of heavy rain. You're going to get some very strong winds coming in. Again, there's going to be a lot of straight line winds, but really the big story is going to be the flooding that's going to come in here. When you see 3 inches of rain reported in less than 1 hour, you absolutely know that is going to do some significant flooding damage there. It's going to really rise those waters pretty quickly. Look on the right-hand side. That's a manhole cover, and you can see how the rain is just rushing out of that right there. So flooding absolutely going to be an issue with this. All in all, straight line winds also going to be certainly an issue with this. These winds 60, 80 miles per hour. We'll have some hail thrown in here as well. Looks like hail sizes are likely going to be in the range of quarters, half dollars, nickels, and dimes right now. So again, that is going to be certainly an issue with this, and we're still going to have some powerful winds coming in as well. You can see what looks like right here going to be some inflow right around Dale, so some heavy rain, quite a bit of lightning and thunder in Dale to Bethel Acres, and you can see as well certainly going to have some powerful winds coming in, maybe even a little bit of hail just around Stella. As we look now in the Shawnee here, as we sample the velocities, notice how we don't see a lot of those red and those greens together, but still we are going to have some powerful winds that are moving east here, east on Highway 9, so from Tecumseh to Earlsboro, all right, east of Dale, Shawnee. Looks like these powerful winds are going to come rushing in here at speeds about 60 to 80 miles per hour, and all in all, it looks like this is really going to be transitioning into a straight line wind event. Again, a straight line wind event as this is coming in here. Not only that, but also going to have quite a bit of heavy rainfall. Once again, as we mentioned, we're talking about easily going to be getting some winds up around 60 to 80 miles per hour and some rain, about 1 to 3 inches of rain rates per hour. So kind of looking at some of the reports that we have coming in right now. Looks like as far as Oklahoma City goes, we're getting lots of reports of flash flooding, heavy rain coming in here. Fortunately, while the tornado risk is not zero, it is quickly decreasing as we head later into the evening here. Remember, this tornado watch is still in effect until midnight, all right? But we have this one tornado warning for Pottawatomie County here, and we're going to be continuing to watch this, again, very closely as it moves across Pottawatomie County there. Jess, over to you.
Hey, Damon, want to go out now live to KOCO's Morgan Chesky, who is along I-40. Morgan, I understand there are some semis that have been blown over there. Tell me your exact location along I-40 as well.
Hey, Chad, how are you?
Okay, maybe Morgan can't hear me right now. If we can get Morgan Chesky up, he is on the scene there along I-40, where he has been reporting that semis have been blown over. We'll see if we can get that live report from him so we can show you some of those pictures. Of course, Damon, the issue has been flooding. We have crews out, so we'll try to bring you some more pictures just as soon as we get them.
Yeah, the issue absolutely has been flooding, and we still continue a severe risk and even getting a hail risk as well. I do believe that the hail threat's coming up. If we can go over to Advantage Doppler 3D here, I want to show you some of these hail cores that we have. What our radar is sampling now, looks like the hail kind of quickly spiked up here, but from Franklin to Little Axe to Stella, our radar right now is still sampling about 2-inch size hailstones. That's going to be larger than golf balls, going to be approaching smaller than tennis ball size hail, but still this is going to be a lot of hail, a lot of heavy rain. So right along Highway 9, right over Lake Thunderbird, you're going to get some huge hailstones coming down here from Pink to Little Axe, Stella. All right, you can see here, this is going to be in eastern parts of Cleveland County, and that hail is going to continue to move into Pottawatomie County. Rusty.
Damon, and again, this area still has a tornado warning associated with it. I do have good news for the folks of northern Pottawatomie County. The warning will be allowed to expire at 9 p.m. So in the next 9 minutes, we will see this tornado warning expired. If there are no others reissued between now and then, there will be no active tornado warnings for the first time in several hours in the metro area. That, of course, is still that is very good news. Rainfall will continue to be an issue. The very heavy rain as well. You know, like you said, 1 to 3 inches of rain. I can't fathom the amount of rain that has fallen in Canadian and Oklahoma counties so far. So many of the sites that we have over 3 inches of rain, and it all came in a very quick amount of time. There have also been some other issues in addition to the flash flooding. There have been some lightning strikes that have caused some structures to be set on fire. Of course, that happens a lot of times with severe weather that comes our way. We just have so much lightning associated with them. You're looking at a live picture on the right-hand side. I believe that was a 235 interchange of some kind. And Damon, I think this is going to be a very common sight across the metro, especially south of I-40, where you're going to have a lot of low-lying areas that are just absolutely flooded out. The water system just couldn't handle the amount of rain that we got in such a short amount of time. So this is good news that we're transitioning from talking about tornado warnings and very damaging winds to talking about more of a flooding threat, only because, you know, we're back kind of on the lower end side of some of that stuff. And of course, the reports that we are getting is that the major thoroughfares across the metro are still absolutely stuck. People just can't move right now. Just so many people are there on the roads, and unfortunately, there were some injuries because of that. But again, right now, the tornado warning that is currently in effect, it's technically for southeast Oklahoma, northeast Cleveland, and the western sides of Pottawatomie County will be allowed to expire. That's in about 7 minutes. As long as no other warnings are issued between now and then, that will be the last active tornado warning in the area. We still continue with severe thunderstorm warnings, though, all up and down that line as that continues to push off to the south. Damon?
Yeah, and when we talk about the rainfall that we have had in here, just literally within the last hour to last 90 minutes, the Oklahoma City Metro has had over 3 inches of rain. We know how the Metro handles 3 inches of rainfall in 1 hour. Things will flood, and we're definitely seeing that. Paul, Jess, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Damon, we have been, you heard Rusty talking about people on the highways. Well, yeah. They're still crowded, and part of it is because of the situation from these storms.
Let's go live to KOCO's Morgan Chesky along I-40. Morgan, give us your exact location along the interstate there, and we understand that there are some semis that have been blown over.
Yeah, Paul, Jess, right now we're at a way station that is about halfway in between Yukon and El Reno, just off I-40. And this is where we're starting to see some considerable damage. We have about half a dozen semi-tractor trailers surrounding me on the feeder road, which would be the entrance to that way station, and they are overturned on their sides, some blown off the road completely. Had a chance and walked around amongst them. The driver's not there. Fortunately, did not see any sign of that anyone was inside these tractor trailers when they were thrown off the road. Their contents are spewing across parts of the road. We have 7-Eleven cups littering a large area here. Traffic appears to be back open on eastbound and westbound I-40, although it is very tedious driving right now. We have a lot of emergency vehicles that are slowing folks down, and I would say folks are probably averaging about 20, 25 miles here on this part. We also, in the distance, are seeing some structural damage as well. I know a photojournalist and I were driving past a couple silos that had the tops ripped off. Several barns and sheds that we've seen are pretty much flattened here in this kind of rural area between Yukon and El Reno. So that's what it's looking like right now. Paul, Jess?
Well, Morgan, what kind of rain are you seeing there right now?
The rain is lightening a little bit, but we are seeing considerable lightning come down to our east right now. That would be towards you guys. But the rain is diminishing a little bit here. We've been here about 20 minutes. I finally was able to get a call in due to some cell phone issues that we've been having after that storm. And in that time, the rain's gone from almost a downpour to nearly a drizzle.
And Morgan, I missed your exact location there along I-40. I know you said between Yukon and El Reno, but we had heard there near Banner Road that EMSA had been sending out multiple units to bring the injured to hospitals. Have you seen anything like that or heard any reports along those lines?
We passed Banner Road on our way to this way station, which is where we are right now. There's a gas station there at Banner Road. We didn't see any emergency vehicles as we drove by. We have seen considerable traffic of emergency vehicles going back and forth to that area. Again, we knew to look for that staging area, and we saw some, I believe it was OG&E trucks that were positioned there, but no emergency vehicles there at the time we drove by.
So, and the damage that you're seeing is big trucks. You're not seeing cars and things like that that are flipped over right in that area.
Correct. All the damage we've seen are tractor trailers, semis that are off the road. But let me tell you, I mean, to just get a sense for how powerful these storms were, I don't know where their original location was, but we have one that's pretty much almost in a field entirely, and you can see the road is considerable distance from that. And then the others are toppled over from different positions all along the road, content spewing out.
Wow.
Okay.
We'll have to see if we can get some video or pictures of that. Morgan, thanks, and call back if you get any new information. We also have some information coming from Will Rogers World Airport that we want to pass along.
That's right. You know, they had evacuated the entire place and got everybody down in the tunnels. Well, now we can tell you that people are being allowed to leave that area. But here's the situation. There's no power at the airport.
Right, no power. So right now there are no flights that are leaving Will Rogers right now at this point, and they believe that there is some damage at the airport. At this point, they are assessing that, trying to get a better idea of just how bad it may be. But the people who were in that safe area have now been able to come out, and hopefully they can head home safely.
Also want to mention the power I said was out there. Well, there are about 53,000 people without power across the metro, and it's going to take some time. I mean, you know, one of the first things they've got to get rid of is all of this flooding from all the rain that is coming down.
Right. We had been showing you some of the streets that were flooded in Oklahoma City. I know specifically Northwest 56 in Penn has been flooded, and traffic has been having to divert and turn around, not go across that intersection there, specifically along Penn.
It is just a mess. Chief Meteorologist Damon Lane's been tracking it. Damon, you said more than 3 inches of rain has fallen right there.
Yeah, 3 inches of rain, literally probably in the last 90 minutes. And so, as we all know here in Oklahoma City, this is not an area that can handle a lot of rain that comes down that quickly. Now, it will flood very quickly, but the flood waters will usually recede within a couple hours. So we're not, at least Oklahoma City is not an area where we're going to see flooding for days and days and days. What we have here in Vantage Doppler 3D, this is going to be a rainfall product here, and kind of sampling where some of the heavier rainfall reports have been coming in. Just right now, looking at some of the Mesonet data that we have. Again, southeast Oklahoma City measured 3.55 inches of rain. Northwest Oklahoma City there, 3.3 inches of rain. And then in El Reno, Doppler radar estimates of over 4 inches of rain. So 4 inches of rain just towards Canadian County, Oklahoma County, and in Cleveland County. And again, this will be this will help fill the lakes up. But I tell you what, the drought for some parts of Cleveland County is long gone, all right? So this is just going to be some more bonus rain coming in right now. But we can now say that all tornado warnings, I do believe, all tornado warnings are about to expire, and I do not see there being any more tornado warnings issued for this evening. Now, we're still going to have some areas of rotation and some pretty strong winds coming out of this, but as you can see here, the radar pictures, Shawnee, Norman, Moore, Valley Brook, so getting some heavy rain coming in to downtown Oklahoma City, Newcastle, south of Blanchard, Mustang Tunnel sooner, and then Yukon, the lane. There are no more active tornado warnings across the KOCO viewing area, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning will be until 9:45. So it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning is going to still exist for this, and again, it's be until 9:45. That will replace the tornado warning. So let's just go ahead and read off this new severe thunderstorm warning that will be east of the metro. This will be for northeastern Cleveland County, southern Lincoln County, southeastern Oklahoma County, Pottawatomie County, and Seminole County. This will be for 80-mile-per-hour winds. So we're talking about storms that are kicking out 80-mile-per-hour winds, and still the potential has some very large hail size. Looks like the hail's really come up, especially in Pottawatomie County here. Golf ball to softball size hail possible with this severe thunderstorm warning that is moving in the Shawnee and around Bethel Acres. Paul, Jess, over to you.
Okay, Damon, let's take a look at some pictures now, some video live happening right now of all of that flooding we've been talking about in Oklahoma City. Photojournalist Dan Ryan is along this way. Dan, you are there near I-235 and 23rd. Just kind of give us an exact idea of where you're positioned.
Well, I'm at the McDonald's parking lot right now. I'm looking at the on-ramp, the northbound on-ramp for I-235 here, and you can see these cars got stuck where the water was a lot higher earlier, and all these cars are having to turn around because it's still really deep right down there. I did see an 18-wheeler go through there a minute ago, and it made a huge wake. The water was up to the windows of that Suburban right there. I wouldn't recommend that. I was surprised he even tried it.
Dan, it looks like this water. It looks like this water has moved out of there pretty quickly. I mean, last time we talked to you, that water was very deep, even around all of those vehicles.
Yes, it was. It's gone down quite a bit. The rain has let up a little bit. I want to turn around here and show you the intersection of 23rd and Broadway. You can see this is the manhole cover that water was just gushing out of earlier. It popped the whole manhole cover off of the hole. And I've actually seen a couple of cars hit that. You don't want to hit that. It'll probably blow out your tire. Now, we still have people driving down here thinking they can go into that bridge, and they can't. As you can see here, that's what you're going to run into. That's gone down as well, but I can tell you that is 3 or 4 foot deep of water. That Jeep is not in the deepest part of it.
It's amazing how quickly it has receded, but you're showing us at least 2 spots there along 23rd near I-235 where it's still pretty high, and cars, it's just not safe to go through.
And it looks like that Jeep is going to be stuck right there for quite a while as that water continues to recede. And Dan, the traffic that is coming along through there, when we noticed earlier with you, it didn't seem like a lot of traffic was backed up right there. Now all the traffic seems to have come into that area. Did all the water seem like it receded down into that manhole? Is that where it went?
It's receded into all the storm drains around here, except for these under the bridge. That really hasn't gone down much. They must be clogged or something. I don't know. It's just overwhelmed the drainage system around here.
Dan, I got to tell you that it has really changed a lot very dramatically in a very short amount of time. You know, we've been seeing all of this flooding. We were talking to Christine Yeager with the city of Oklahoma City when we were looking at this earlier, and one of the things she said, crews had to wait for a few minutes for them to get to the scene. The great news is right there you can see it's going down and the power is on. And
I just want to quickly mention, you know, there was an Oklahoma City Barons hockey game tonight. We know that has been rescheduled. They were waiting it out there at the Cox Convention Center. I actually saw a tweet, a picture from a dressing room that had some flooding inside the building as well. So we'll work on getting some more information on that. And I believe the Women's College World Series game, that has been postponed. No games tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing on Twitter, at least right now, from them.
Everything is going to be such a soggy mess. And Damon Lane continues to track this. And Damon, look how fast that water has moved out of there, man.
And that's very typical here in Oklahoma City. I recall even a couple summers ago, some of the summers that we did get rain. I know last summer we didn't really get a whole lot of rain, but we have had a lot of flooding storms that have come in over the past couple years, and we see places quickly rise with water, places like Lightning Creek, and then that water quickly recedes. Oklahoma City is notorious for seeing that happen, where again you see a quick flooding threat. You let the rain let up for a little bit, and then the rivers and the flood control areas do their thing out